this is like a assessment activity I've done for both AP US and AP Government. I think you could probably use it for science or in some other subjects. I don't think it would work for math. I'm not sure how you could do it. But you typically, like, I give a list of terms that we should know, or concepts that we should know from a week, after a week-long period. And it's both an assessment for me to get information from them, but it's also a self-assessment for them as well. And what they do is they take a lot of these terms, and so I kind of pick some related to elections. And they have to put them into categories or groups of 3 to 5 terms, and then explain why those terms belong together. And so, I wasn't sure how many people we have in here, but I gave you guys some definitions. I wouldn't actually give them the definitions for this, but I gave you guys some of those definitions. And you can think about, like, all right, which terms maybe are related in some way. And so as they're going through that, I usually have them do it with a partner, and they try to kind of AP US, but I think the strategy we use for a lot of subjects. So what I've got here, if you guys want to try it for a few minutes, I've got a bunch of terms that they would need to know related to elections up here. And you can talk, I let them work with a partner, and they try to come up with different categories and kind of create what categories might fit together. So they might have one that would be like, these things all influence the voting decisions of an individual, or these ones are all related to the primary process. And then, yeah, you just got to argue why they belong together, 3 to 5 in a group. And I was telling these guys, I gave you the definitions because I know a lot of people probably aren't.
Thank you.
Yes, I wouldn't give the definitions to the actual students though. And so it becomes a self-assessment for them, because then they quickly go, oh, I don't remember anything about the Federal Elections Commission, I have no idea how it fits. And then that becomes a discussion point for us. And then I can also kind of circulate around, and they write this down on a sheet of paper with their groups, and I can see quickly sort of associate which ones maybe.
Yeah, kind of put it in order.
Yeah,
it would be good.
That's what I was thinking for science. It's fun, they like it because it's like a puzzle, they have to try to use them all.
I love doing that stuff. Okay. So. Okay.
Oh, and I forgot one of them, the motor voter law. They love saying this one, the motor voter law, but it's just, you can register to vote at the DMV because of the motor voter law, so.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, because anytime,
Yeah, I forgot to put that definition down there. I also didn't put political parties on it, which I think you know.
Is that must be federal?
Yeah.
Federal.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
So I'm assuming then they create like lists?
So, I guess, what kind of groups stand out right
that's
away?
a tough
It's like
call.
categorizing things, so
I was
you could say,
looking kind of at primary, maybe.
Okay.
it's really up to them. They have to show
The
that they understand
selection
definition.
process
They could
for
say,
candidate,
okay,
maybe?
Primary, super delegates, and caucus all go together because they're all involved with nominating.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what I yeah primary caucus
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
this
so.
would fit.
Yeah, and I actually have them write out, so they create
Wow,
their
that's
groups,
a
and
pretty
next year they
circle.
have their explanation of why they belong
Oh,
together.
that's
So
a
then
good
I can
idea.
collect it, and I
That's
can
a
look
good
over
idea.
it, we can also discuss it.
Any other ones that would go with those?
Electoral
I didn't
college
usually,
maybe.
Yeah, that
Possible.
definitely goes into the
Not
voting
after one
process.
lesson, but maybe after
There's a
series
big
of
part
couple
of it.
lessons on a topic.
Say maybe
Okay.
party
But not
platform
quite the
maybe
unit test yet.
could go with that
There's
as
It's
well.
kind of like midway in
potential.
between.
Yeah.
And it's good for them too.
I feel like, okay, because caucus,
Yeah.
voting,
You bet.
And then
and then I can give them
Selecting a candidate, yeah.
primary,
Uh-huh,
also
you bet.
voting, it's a
You
traditional
bet, those
ballot.
Then you can
would
pull
So-
up and
definitely,
say,
yeah.
okay,
Definitely
which
for
ones did
sure.
you choose?
Yeah.
Electoral college, because that goes
I
into the
don't
voting, because
remember.
after the primary,
You
they
bet,
help
you bet, you
decide.
bet.
Did you change most
And
of
then-
that for general ed?
I think the
So-
terms would be different, and
I
you
guess
can
that's where
decide
like,
if you
Yeah,
that's
you
the
bet.
position, so that's
Sure.
more
Typically,
Sure, you
pre-voting
bet, you
time.
bet, you bet.
So that would- I feel like be in a different
Sure,
group.
Alright,
sure.
you open up your textbook and look things up.
Swing state would be part of our voting grouping.
It could be,
You
you
know, like,
bet.
we have
Yeah, so I would put that one in it.
Mm-hmm.
Wiley, did you get any?
Yeah, well, you have a lot of there's a lot
Yeah.
of overlap.
Which
Like
one?
Yeah,
Citizens,
that's
Super PAC, Citizens United
Yeah.
with it. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, that's alright. I
Yeah.
tried.
Yeah. Oh no. Do you ever have like debate?
Yeah, people, and then
Yeah.
it's a good one too, because then they can see how things can fit in multiple
You
areas.
bet.
Yeah,
Because we're already kind of seeing that
Yeah.
right here.
and that's the idea behind it.
Yeah.
So then another group, I think, just kind of looking at super PAC and party platform was like.
I had one other strategy to show you guys too. This is just an example. So like, I would give this to my AP Gov kids.
To maybe what kind of?
Sure, you bet.
So this would be for AP Gov.
AP Gov.
But you could use it for any class easily. And so like they may have come up with something, I set limits, but you don't have to. I try to say only 3 to 5 in a group, that way they can't like put 10 in a group or 2 in a group, it just makes it a little more difficult. And you also, yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely no overlap, right? You don't want.
I don't want overlap,
multiple
although
terms.
sometimes I do say, some kids say, can I add a term? And I'll be like, yeah, sure, why not? But
Okay.
yeah, and they try to fit as many as they can, and then they're kind of left over with the ones they don't understand very well, so it's a good self-assessment. So like these kids might have said, put those 4 together, and then they have to write an explanation, so this would have been an explanation. So these terms belong together because they're all factors that might influence a person's vote. Many people simply vote based on their own party identification, others consider candidates' party positions or platform. Selective perception may influence a person's vote because it may limit their ability to pay attention to opposing views. And so they put all that together based on kind of concepts we've already learned. And yeah, it works pretty well for going over terms, and like I said, it's good for them because they see what they don't know, and then you can see really quickly, engage the class, which words and concepts are unfamiliar, and you can collect those things they write to and look them over. So I like doing that. You can spend 10 minutes, you can spend 20 minutes on it, really, depending on how many words you give them. Jen Keltner last year, when she did the reading strategies for prove-it claims, I just applied it to writing. So in AP US we have to do a lot of writing, and much of what they have to do is basically support a claim with evidence, specific evidence, backing it up. And so I kind of work in reverse, and I would give them a claim, which we talk about is something that is neither true or false, it's something you have to prove. And so I might give them, like as an exit slip, a claim like, we're studying the American Revolution right now. Right? The changes ushered in by the American Revolution were in fact quite conservative. So in this class we talk a lot about how the American Revolution, although it seems like a massive change, a lot of things didn't change for slaves and for women's rights and a lot of different areas. Really not a lot changed. You still had a lot of kind of wealthy white guys running the country as before. And that's something that is a key part of the AP US curriculum. But what they have to do is they have to come up with 3 pieces of evidence that would support that claim. So it's a really quick exit ticket. But it's got to be concrete evidence. There can't be vague things. It has to be like a specific reference to something. And then you can also, if you wanted to give them the alternative, because it's a claim, it can be proved true or false, they could try to come up with something that would disprove it or refute that claim, that actually, in fact, it was quite a vast change. So those are prove-it claims. And you can use these for any class, really, I would think. I use it for government also, so I could say something like, electing the president based on the Electoral College is a better system than using the popular vote. That's something that could be debated either or, and we study the pros and cons of the Electoral College, and so they'd have to reference those specific pros and cons and give some actual evidence for that before they go. And I like this because you can easily turn it into paragraph writing then, because the claim becomes like your topic sentence, and then they can kind of pick up on all the evidence is in that paragraph, kind of proving that point. Because for AP US, I have a lot of kids that very intelligent, but maybe don't have that mechanics of kind of getting those paragraphs put together in a good format. And so that's where we start with them, is we start with those claims and they work backwards and prove it. You can also go the other way and give them a bunch of evidence and have them make a general claim about it. So it's kind of working either